Hello, today we'll be talking about Tress, as indicated by the thumbnail and the title. Anyway, this isn't really a review so much as my thoughts. Beware of spoilers throughout. Before we get into that, if you haven't read Tress, read Tress. It's one of the best books Brandon Sanderson has ever written. Easily in my top 5. Please don't ask me to come up with what the other 4 are. And it's just a masterpiece, in my opinion, at least. Um, so I'm not quite sure how I want to approach this. I mostly just want to talk about some of the things I noticed, not necessarily everything I noticed, but the salient details to do with the cosmere as a whole. Um, and maybe a couple other things like the change in prose, because I watched a Sanderson interview where he was talking about it, and he had to write in a very different prose since this book is effectively a story being told by Hoyd, and how difficult that was for him. And I thought he pulled it off just beautifully, and it's not it's hard to tell that it's not a style that he's used to with how well I thought it was done. Um, the general story arc is that your hero or heroine in this particular case is going after a damsel in distress in the form of uh, a noble-born son that oversees the island that they live on. So it's a nice little role reversal there right from the start, where you're just gender swapping the roles. Um, Other than that, the general story isn't too much to write home about. It's your standard, hero loves damsel, damsel gets caught, hero saves damsel. But what Sanderson did with it along the way was fantastic, and how he buried little hints and tidbits about the cosmere was was fun for people that, like me, have read everything about the cosmere. I particularly loved the scene where Tress is trying to fix a hull, and she's noting how the different trowels that you have, which are made out of different metals, are causing the spores to react. And in parentheses, Sanderson as Hoyd made some note to the effect of for people that impulsively track these things. And just before I read that in parentheses section, I was laughing and giddy with getting more information about how the universe works. And then just to have them tweak my nose, tweak their nose at that is hilarious. Um, it also opened some questions of where in the timeline in this. I mean, clearly, with respect to Warbreaker, it's quite far in the future because you're seeing awakened high tech devices. But we don't really know where Warbreaker falls with respect to the other Cosmere worlds. There might be a timeline for that, but I've never really looked for it, and it's not been indicated very well within the books, because the Cosmere aspect tends to be, just a side story for the people that impulsively track those kinds of things. Um, it was pretty interesting to see a world where you see so many other worlds interacting with it, because not only do you see the awakened materials from Warbreaker, and I never remember most of the planets' names, so I just think of them by the titles that take place on those worlds. Um, the Mistborn series being somewhat of an exception to that because it's easy to remember Scadrial. But you see Khandra from Scadrial, you see awakened materials from the Warbreaker world, you see an Elantrian, although I think he changed some of the rules to do with that magic system, or at least he's expanding on them in ways that I didn't really understand as possible before, with the curses and all of that, along with the inviting people in, because in Elantris people weren't invited, they were afflicted until it was fixed. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I am sure Sanderson will expand on that when he feels it prudent, but it was just a little odd to me. Um, what else? Oh, where is Hoyd's Spren? We know he has a Spren. He picked up a cryptic. Um, I can't remember which of the books he picked that up on Roshar, but he definitely picked one up. So is this somehow occurring before that? That would mean very odd things for the timeline. And if it's occurring after that, where is it? He should have the powers of uh, uh, a Lightweaver, and you don't really see him exercising those powers throughout. Admittedly, he was a little loopy through the vast majority of the story, but he should have that power. He's almost certainly an Allomancer if he's been a long time friend of a Khandra, and the way the Khandra implied that they've separated from Harmony suggests that it's occurring far in the future from Era 2 at least. So it just leaves us with these questions of where Tress is occurring in the timeline, and I'm fascinated to learn through later books exactly how it relates. Also, the dragon confuses me. Why is there a dragon? I assume the dragon is somehow shapeshifted or maybe a shard itself, but that one was a little odd, just throwing a dragon in there. But whatever, it's still a fantastic book, and adding a dragon just adds to that fantasy vibe, I guess. What other things did I notice? I'm just looking at my lists here. I don't know that I had a lot more that I really that I both noticed and thought worth talking about. Um, if anyone has other things they would like to talk about regarding Tress, please note it in the comment section. Um, and while we're getting on with engagement begging, please like or dislike. Um, but I think that pretty much wraps it up. Not a particularly long video, not really a review, just my thoughts on a book that I absolutely loved. Um, so as always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.